Welcome to Nurse Burnout Solutions, the podcast for nurses ready to trade exhaustion for energy. I'm your host, Betty McLean. I'm a nurse with over 20 years of experience, and I'm also a certified life and certified burnout coach. I'm here to give you practical tools, share some inspiring stories, and offer real support for recovery from burnout. Hi, and welcome to today's episode. We are going to talk some more about how to deal with the cold, dark winter months, how to keep yourself well and grounded and centered, and also feeling a little bit like you have a little bit of energy and not feel like you want to be a bear hibernating. So, we're going to talk about resting and how that's a good thing. We're going to talk about keeping yourself well nourished and not just with good food. And we're going to talk about some strategies for keeping yourself light and bright during the dark winter months. So, we want to start with just framing this discussion around rest versus productivity. So, this is something that even just yesterday I realized people in our society tend to, myself included, equate our worth with our productivity. And when I heard people say that, I always thought, well, no, I don't do that. I know that I have value as a person. But what is so interesting is I was talking with a coach, with one of my coaches, and I was saying, I just don't want to do the laundry. I'm writing a book, and I was like, I just don't want to write the book. I don't want to do the laundry. I just don't want to do any of it. And she asked, well, why, I don't remember exactly how she worded it, but she was getting at what part of yourself doesn't want to do the work. And I realized that there was a part of me that really does believe that other people and a part of myself will find me more valuable if I do productive things. I value myself more when I do productive things. I think that I am more valuable, more worthy of praise and attention and all of the things. And it feels a little bit like a resistant teenager when I say I don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to record the podcast. I don't want to because I'm kind of rebelling against this idea of I'm only worth anything if I'm productive. So, if that is you, this is our challenge. The challenge is to understand that you are a whole person worthy of all love, attention, all the things, regardless of what you produce. And when you can kind of start to lean into that, then you can ask yourself, what would you like to do because it makes you feel good? Not because it makes you more worthy, but because you want to do it. Turns out I want to do the laundry because I love having the clothes that I like clean and the towels freshly laundered. I want to do the laundry, regardless of whether I am a good person, a worthy person, etc. So if you find yourself resting and taking an afternoon to just not do anything, and you are feeling guilty for that, just question whether or not you might be getting some sense of worth from your productivity. And if that is the case, just get really clear in your mind that that's what's happening. Talking with a life coach like myself can help you figure out exactly how that is showing up in your life. But just being aware that your brain is doing that, that you have that society pre-programmed in you, this idea that you need to be productive to be worthy of love, worthy of anything. Just knowing that it's there is a little bit freeing. So then you get to say, do I want to be productive right now because it's what I want for my life? Or do I want to rest right now because physically exhausted or mentally exhausted and I need to rest? Because when we are not getting the sunlight, when we are not getting the warmth, the the idea of rest can be, it can kind of feel like I want to hide away, I want to hibernate. So we want to just ask ourselves and get really clear, why am I needing to rest? Am I needing to rest because I have been pushing myself too hard? I've been attending too many parties. I've been taking on too many extra shifts at work. Is there a good reason for me to rest? Or am I rebelling against all the activity because I'm feeling like I'm putting my worth in that. And subconsciously my brain is trying to say, how dare you say that production is the only way I can be worthy. So just be really honest with yourself about why you're resting and then acknowledge the fact that when you rest, when you rest intentionally and without guilting yourself, you're actually setting yourself up to be more productive. If you push and push and push and push, you will eventually be forced to rest, right? You will get exhausted, you'll get a migraine, you'll get sick, and then you will be forced to rest and your productivity will go down, not on your own terms, but just it will be forced. So, making sure you're taking time to rest and nourish your body will mean that when you decide to be productive, you will have energy. You will have emotionally, you'll be like, I'm ready to go, let's go. But you're making it a balancing act, right? Rather than saying, I'm going to produce, 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 I'm going to be active, active, active until I can't anymore. Instead, you're saying, I'm going to be active, I'm going to be productive, and I'm going to incorporate rest. Rest, of course, can mean a lot of different things. And that leads me to my second point of nourishing your mind, your body, and your spirit. Obviously, we need to take care of our body, our meat suit, right? The vessel that is getting us physically through life, right? We need to make sure we're drinking water. We need to make sure we're eating protein and fiber. And moving our body every once in a while. Bodies were meant to move, not to sit on the couch for 12 hours a day, right? Not to sit at an office desk for 8 hours a day and then go home and sit on the couch for another 4 hours and then go to bed. Our bodies were meant to move. And that can be as simple as standing up, doing a couple of jumping jacks, doing a couple of squats, and then sitting back down, going for a 5 minute walk, doing some lunges on your way over to get another cup of coffee. Like you can incorporate movement. You don't have to go for a 3 mile run or go and work out at the gym for an hour. Now, going for a 3 mile run, going to the gym for an hour, like is wonderful if that's where you are physically. But if you are someone who is extremely inactive, start slow, incorporate movement throughout your day, and then see if you can add in going for a mile walk, going to the gym for 15 minutes and lifting heavy things for 10 minutes, right? Slowly incorporate your activity, increase your activity. That will nourish your body. Drinking some water every once in a while, eating some protein, eating some fiber, making sure you're getting protein and fiber every single day, and then moving your body. Now, we also, I want to say, especially in the winter months, but maybe just in general, we should also be nourishing our mind and our spirit. Now, what I have noticed for myself, and I think this is probably true of a lot of people, there was a cliche statement, motto, I don't know what you'd call it, that I was taught when I was very young. Garbage in, garbage out, right? And it was this idea that you don't want to sit in front of the TV for too long watching stupid cartoons because you will then not have anything intelligent to say. You don't want to only consume social media because you'll have nothing to contribute to the world. Now, I want to kind of, I don't really love the garbage in, garbage out mentality because, again, it kind of speaks to that productivity. What comes out of you is important, but it's not your worth. So, how I like to think of it now is Are the things that I'm consuming, my social media reels? That's a big one for me. Like, what kind of reels am I watching? And how many podcasts am I listening to? And is that social media and the little reels that I'm watching throughout the day, are they helping me feel more grounded and centered? Or are they making my mind feel chaotic? So when I listen to a podcast that is about personal development or grounding techniques or things that something that I can help. I listen to a lot of business podcasts, so things that can help my business. When I finish listening to them, my mind feels calm and orderly. When I get done watching, 15 reels in a row about kittens and pranks and what's going on in the world and somebody's opinion about somebody else and somebody's opinion about something else, and a lot of them are opinions. I do this. My reels are all my opinions too. So, but you should listen to my reels. Anyway, so when I get done consuming social media and I finally put my phone down, my mind does not feel centered. My mind feels a little jumbled, a little chaotic. I might have a couple of songs, like little ditties of songs playing through my head on repeat, right? I might have, you know, a lot of it's just chaos. I don't have anything running through my head. And the difficult thing about that is when I sit down to record a podcast, when I sit down to write an email, or even sit down to pay bills or engage with my family, if my mind is feeling chaotic and I'm thinking about the last three kitten videos that I watched and I'm singing this little ditty that I actually don't know the song of, it was just a sound bite, it becomes hard to focus. So, a way to nourish your mind is to notice the things that you are consuming that make you feel good and calm, and do that more intentionally, especially when you know you have maybe family dinner is coming up. Right before a family event is maybe not the time to spend 30 minutes scrolling social media. Maybe that's the time to put on your music that really makes you feel centered and powerful and kind, right? Or maybe you're headed into work and you know it's going to be rough. You know it, you've been understaffed and the patient load is heavy, and you're like, I'm going to have to hit the floor running, and you are thinking, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to just make it happen. Well, are you listening to, you know, content that makes you feel, are you listening to music that makes you feel anxious? I don't know of any music that makes people feel anxious, but whatever. You get the point. What are you listening to on your way to work? Does it make you feel empowered, encouraged? Are you listening to maybe a podcast that actually makes you feel like hopeful and like things are going to be okay? Or are you listening to the news and about all the things that are going wrong in the world? Because that energy is going to carry with you into your next activity. I was actually just listening to a video on YouTube about silence, which is fascinating. I'm going to have to do a whole podcast about silence, but because silence can be very nourishing as well. So look at what you're consuming. How does it make you feel? Do you need to also incorporate more silence into your day to truly nourish your mind? That also leads to nourishing the spirit. Now, I believe that we are a body, a mind, and a spirit. So our spiritual energy needs care too, just like our thoughts need watched, our emotions and our spirit need care. So, is that music? I kind of alluded to this, but is that music, does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel warm and kind and loving? Or does that video that you're consuming make you feel anxious and tight and constricted? If that thing that you're consuming, the YouTube video, the reels, the music, if it's not making you feel uplifted and centered and loving, it's not nourishing your soul. It's not nourishing your spirit. So again, it's get some awareness about how are you feeling after a particular piece of content that you've consumed, okay? So that's taking really good care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. And this idea, and that kind of leads me to the end point that I want to make today, is that when you are caring well for yourself, you are caring for your body, you are caring for your mind, good things in, good things out. You are aware of your thoughts. Maybe you're doing some journaling. Thoughts become untangled when they pass through your lips or your fingertips. This idea that when you write or journal, you can sometimes get some clarity. When you speak your problems to a coach or a therapist, you can get some clarity around what's going on in your mind. So, are you caring well for your body, your mind, and your spirit? What are the things that make you feel loving and expansive and open versus tight and fearful and constricted? When you are caring well for yourself, you can be a light and a source of encouragement to your children, to your spouse, the people in your immediate bubble. You can be an encouragement to your coworkers. You can be an encouragement to your town. You can be an encouragement to the world, literally, if you are taking excellent care of yourself. The dark winter months can be very hard for a lot of people. And if you are not taking care of yourself, it becomes very difficult to show up and support. But when you are nourishing your body and you are nourishing your mind and you are nourishing your soul, it is a little bit easier. There's always going to be difficulties in our lives. But again, that's a different podcast. It becomes a little bit easier to show up for the people you care the most about in a loving way, in a way that is not exhausted, in a way that is not snippy or petty. And when you show up for those people, their lives get a little better and they can show up for you in return, right? This is how we build community. This is how we build families that are sustainable, is by showing up for them, helping them feel a little better, do a little better, right? And not from a place of like, I'm going to take care of you, so you better take care of me. We cannot demand that people behave in any particular way, right? We don't get to control other people. That's not how adulthood works. But we can set good boundaries. Again, that's a different podcast. But when we're taking really good care of ourselves, boundaries become easier to enforce because you wouldn't let somebody take away from the good habits that you've been put in place for yourself because you know what it feels like to be well cared for. And so when somebody comes in with a not great attitude, something you don't want in your life, it becomes a lot easier just to say, I'm not going to participate in that. I'm going to let them just be them over there. I can even be in the room with them, but I'm going to acknowledge that their problems aren't my problems. And I'm not going to take that on myself. That's not my burden to bear. Right. Anyway, all of that to say, when you are taking excellent care of yourself, you will feel more empowered to show love to other people, to set good, healthy boundaries, to show up in your workspace and in your home space in a more empowered way, in a way that shines light in these dark months. So think about how you can best care for yourself. How can you nourish your body? Small steps. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Small things. How can you care well for your mind? How can you care well for your spirit? If you want more support around this, you are welcome to come check out my website. You could go to bettymclean.com/burnout quiz, take a little quiz, and depending on if you are in burnout or where you are on burnout, you'll get some emails with some tips about things to look at that maybe need to change or areas where you need support. But really, it's a matter of being really aware, being really self-aware. And if you cannot get that self-awareness, get a coach in your corner, get a life coach, go see a therapist, and have someone help you shine a light on those parts of your brain that are kind of a mystery to yourself, because we all need that from time to time. We all need that outside opinion or that outside mirror, really, to help us sort through what's going on at a more subconscious level. And if you are in a place where you want that support or you don't even know if you need that support, you're not sure, you can always, again, go to my website, schedule a consultation. It's free, and we can talk about how you are caring for yourself and whether you are someone who would benefit from having a life coach in your corner through these dark months. So I will talk to you later, and have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to Nurse Burnout Solutions. If today's episode helped you, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a new episode. And if you know another nurse who could use some encouragement, please share this episode with them. Finally, leaving a quick review helps other nurses find the support that they also deserve. For more resources, visit me anytime at bettymclean.com. I believe all stress is manageable and burnout is not inevitable.